I'm going to analyze my serve. I'm using Eon Westerman. He's really good, and he put out a free serve video course. And I'm gonna go ahead and go through each step. And the steps really are your grip and your stance, trophy pose, racket drop, contact point, and follow through. And I'll try to analyze each one of those. As far as the grip and the stance, he recommends continental. That's the only way you can really go through your pronation as well. So I do use a continental grip. It's hard to see in this video, but it's continental, and he has three different stances, and one is the pinpoint stance. Roddick uses that. Platform, Federer, and then there's a combination of that, which like Murray starts out in the platform and then will move his back foot forward to get it into that pinpoint. And I'm pretty much a platform where my back foot is, if you take a look here, my back foot is behind my front foot. Just a little bit though, and my front foot is it's not quite pointing towards the net post, but it's pretty close. I probably could come a little closer than that. But anyway, that's really everything he has on the grip and stance for his video. Now the second one is the trophy pose, and he said really the trophy pose is the whole purpose is to load up and launch. Some people say, hey, I don't want to get to a trophy pose, but it's really important to get loaded up with your legs and your shoulders and be in the right position to come through and get enough racket speed to get the ball in the court and to get it in with some pace. So I'm going to kind of get to that. I'll kind of analyze this at first as I'm going through. You can kind of see I've got this slow. I'm getting set up for my toss. And one thing he does talk about the toss, and my toss is not that great, but he talks about the different specific positions to get into the trophy pose, and that toss is one of them. But as you can see, the toss should come from the shoulder, and if you look at me, and your arm should be straight out. Your shoulder should be really the hinge. And it's not. If you take a look at my angle here, oops, yeah, it should be. Let's get rid of that. I always have trouble with this 90-degree angle. Let's go here. If you can take a look at my, I'm like 45 degrees there, and really you should be straight out from here. As you're going out, it should start out like this, and then your arms rotated up like that. And as you can see, I'm not. It gets straight up here, but look where it is. It's all, like I said, it's almost at a 45-degree angle. And I'm pretty close to my, a trophy pose right here. I've got some issues there. Some of the things he's looking for is, you drop your arm below your shoulder. When I say that, like right here, this arm should be below your shoulder, and it should be almost a straight up shot. I'm probably not. I could be angled better there than I am. But that racket arm, if it's not there, you're not gonna get the cartwheeling effect eventually. But this is really gonna cause let's just go a little bit further here. Yeah. But you can see I've got a pretty good angle here. That's pretty good. But again, my arm is like that. So that's the trophy pose where I'm loading up. The third part is the rotation of the core, and that's where I'm really failing. If you look at the really good players, their chest is actually there's the back of the fence there. the really good ones actually have you can see their chest from the back fence. And he does mention that most rec players, are facing this way, towards the side fence. And you look at me, my chest is completely towards the side fence, so I'm not loading up. Jeff Salzenstein had a good one. You want to elbow the enemy. So if you take a look at this here, oops, I don't know. Sometimes I can't get. If you take a look at right here, if I would just move that back and to rotate my shoulders, get my chest at least between the back fence and the side fence, so my chest would be facing there, and that's where you're coiling, where it's kind of the old kinetic, where your knees and your hips and your shoulders, all kind of coil, and then they uncoil in the shot. So here, my shoulders should be, further back than my hips, and they're pretty much in alignment right now. As you can see, they're just I'm kind of straight up and down here, which is not real good for getting explosion. And he also talks, when you're in this position, your leg should be in a, that the pros go 90 degrees here. I'm nowhere near that. They get that far down, but he said that if the rec players can get to at least 45 degrees here in their leg bends, they're going to be much better off. So I definitely need more of a leg bend here. So just to go over the trophy base, I got 3 out of the 4 things that aren't very good. My tossing arm should be straight up here. It's not. It's bent, as you can see. My chest should be more back that way. My knees should be bent more here. So I've got 3 out of the 4 things. My elbow here isn't too bad. It could drop down a little bit on that. So that trophy pose is not that great. Anyway, and I know I've got to work on the racket drop. Is another thing I don't do that well. What the racket drop does is it really loads up the shoulder for you when you're going to propel, up towards the ball. Believe it or not, the pros have a racket drop that's below their butt. It's almost, some of them are like mid-thigh. Let's go in here. And look at this. I'm already dropping my arm too. My arm should still be up here, but I'm dropping it, and what that's doing is rotating my shoulders forward, which is not good. But if we continue through here, supposedly I'm cartwheeling, your arm should be dropping now, and then that's going to drop your back racket. But there I am right there. I guess that's as far down as I get right there. So there's my racket drop, which, like I said, some of the pros get it way down to here. I'm up here. I'm above my waist. Let's just get rid of that. It's above my waist right there. Look at that. Let's get that. Yeah, look at it. I'm above my waist there. I'm just losing a ton of power there. So it should be below your waist. Another thing that they talk about, and the way the pros do it is, if you look at my forearm, it should be, some actually have, see my forearm there? That's how my forearm's going. He wants your forearm to be parallel with the surface. And as you can see, I've got a long ways. Parallel, with the surface would be like this, in that area. But I'm not anywhere near that. So the forearm, the more you get it parallel, the further you're going to have a racket drop. And in fact, the forearms were down here like this. I'm not there by any means. And also, you know, the racket's got to be on edge. I should be to the point where this right here is pointing towards my back. The racket edge right here, the racket edge should be pointing towards my back, and what that does, it gives me, they say the old palm should be almost, it's almost like you can brush the, you know, if your palm should be, you know, facing, so you could brush the back of your hair, and then you'll be on, if you're not on edge here, you're not going to be on edge when you come up to the ball, and that's really where you get your racket speed. So that's not good. So my issues here, my forearm's not parallel, my racket drop's not far enough, and my racket edge is not perpendicular to my back. Let's go a little bit further here. I'm starting to come up now. So this is where I'm coming up to the fourth thing, which is the contact point. And this is really where I'm going to extend up to the ball, but my arm, shoulder, and wrist should be in line once I get up there. You're really thinking vertical here, and when I'm talking about vertical, this shoulder here, you know, has got to be in line. It's got to be down far enough so when I'm coming through my racket, I'm almost in a vertical. So the more vertical I can be in this position between my shoulder, chest, hitting shoulder, and the ball, the better off I'm going to be. And I've got some issues here. I'm too horizontal with my shoulders, and that's, you know, so I'm not cartwheeling enough. Basically, if you think of a cartwheel, that you know, shoulders, you know, one is so much lower than the other, and that's where you get the perpendicular analogy. So I'm coming here a little bit further, and as you can take a look at it, you know, I'm right there, and I'm already, look at this. There's the ball, and I'm already on edge because I wasn't perpendicular to my body when I was lower, so that's an issue. I'm losing a lot of racket speed there, which is not good. So let's go another frame here. Okay, there's where I'm contacting. As you can see, when they talk about being vertical, you know, let's just go here. Being vertical, I'm here, and then I'm not. Whoops. Let's get rid of that. There's my lower shoulder, and then you know, I'm like that. I need to be more in line like this, and that's where the cartwheeling comes into effect. But my racket should be flat at this point, and it is pretty flat. But the thing is, this should be, if you look at all the pros, what's going to happen if my face is a little bit closed here, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to hit the ball down into the net. It's got to be more up here like this, where it's flat, and then I'll be much better off. And a key to this, believe it or not, if you go back a little ways, the key is you've got to be hitting the ball as you're going up. If you jump at all, you should be going up and not coming down when you hit the ball. And when I say that, this is really good. Okay, I'm just leaving the ground there. I'm not jumping real high, but I'm leaving the ground. And so if you look at it, 1, 2 or 3 frames. The pros are like 4 frames in the air, and I don't have quite the software to be able to do that. But let me just see. Okay, that's 1, 2 or 3 frames up in the air. Okay, so now I'm making contact with the ball. Now watch. 1, 2, 3. So I've got 3 frames. So with my low jump, I'm actually in the air more after I hit it, and that's, you know, that's what you want. You want to hit the ball on the way up, and I'm doing that. I can, with more of a knee bend, I could get up in the air much higher. Now the last part is the follow through, and again, he really does emphasize there's really no wrist snap. It's all pronation. It's the racket head does have some snap, but pronation is what we do, and that's really the moving of the arm, and this is of the forearm, and this is what's really cool. If you go back one frame, as I come through, my palm should be. Let me just get it a little big here for you. My palm should be, if I've got it on edge, should be facing the left fence. So it should be, should be facing that way. It's just, it is pretty much there, but it's not totally there. Now, as I come through and hit the ball, then the palm's facing towards the net. So that looks pretty good there. And then if you go another frame, the pronation, and I'm breaking my wrist, so let's go back one frame. If you look at my my wrist, now your palm should be facing the right fence. So it's a 180-degree turn of your palm, not your wrist, your palm. So as you're coming through the ball, just the frame before you hit the ball, your palm is facing to the left. When you're hitting the ball, exactly in that nanosecond, your palm is facing the front. And then once you're done and pronating, it's like reading a watch. You should be able to read the watch. Your palm should be facing to the right. And again, if you get back here, if you're not vertical, when you hit the ball, it's going in the net. Let's just do this. It's going to come down into the net, and that's what you don't want to. So you got to think about hitting up and out before you pronate, and you'll clear the net, take the net out of the play. I'd rather hit it long than down into the net, but you've got to hit up and out, and then pronate to bring that ball down into the court. So the key is to keep the racket on edge just before contact. Again, if your racket head's not perpendicular to your back, and what I mean by that too, when you're coming through, if you're coming through, this should be, the racket should be facing this way, but it's not. As you can see, it's kind of facing that way. But if you flip it around here, my racket edge, when I bring it through, I'll get that, but it's just not there. And another thing he talks about as far as the finish, the finish is important here. I'm coming down, and the ball's gone, and I'm coming down, and I don't like the way my wrist is right there. It looks like I did, but the ball's already gone. I pronated. Now my wrist is coming down. You should finish. Most players finish on the left side, and as you can see, I kind of stopped there. I'm not too sure why, but my foot, I come down on my left foot, and which is good, and then my right foot is in the air, and I'm into the court. I could be further into the court, but this is good here. That's up in the air. It's more of a style thing, I guess, is what some people will call it. But see, I stop right there, and I should finish over here on the left side, and I'm not. I'm kind of stopping my follow through, and I should really follow all the way through. And the way it'll, once you pronate and come down, if your chest is facing more to the left than straight ahead to the net, the racket will naturally flow off to your left. But all of the weight should be on your left foot. If you look at Sampras, and Sampras will always finish on the right side of his body. He just had such heavy pronation that he would finish on the right. And for other serves, you're not going to finish on the left. Obviously, for a kick serve, it's a little bit different. Jeff Selzenstein has something called a dirty diaper, so you pronate way up there, so your elbow's above your head, and it's tough to come down on your left side of your body there. But so there are different serves. I'm really talking about the pseudo flat serve here is what I'm demonstrating. It's truly not a flat serve, but the only way you get it into the court with any consistency is ensure that, that you go up and get the ball, hit up and out, and then pronate down, and that'll bring the ball into the court. But anyway, I'm going to put this out on the, on the coach's eye, and anybody else that wants to analyze it, that would be good.